This is the Real English Conversations podcast.
Where you'll find the lessons and advice you need to be able to confidently use your English in the real world.
Hi everybody, it's Curtis and Amy here from RealEnglishConversations.com, and today we have a very interesting and entertaining podcast about the things that our parents used to say to us when we were growing up.
Exactly. And actually, what I did was I created a post on Facebook and I asked all of my friends that are currently parents right now what expressions they're using or things that they are always saying to their kids or things that they heard when they were growing up. So we have a pretty cool list for you. We're not going to be able to get through everything, but Curtis and I have both picked 5 that we heard all the time, and we're going to teach you what they mean and when they're used so that all of the parents that are listening right now are able to use this with their kids as well.
So the first one that I heard as a kid growing up all the time was money doesn't grow on trees. And when you're a kid, you always kind of want to go to the candy store or buy toys. You want money for something.
Whenever you're at the store, there's always something that you're asking your mom and dad to buy for you. Oh, can I have this? Can I have that?
So kids don't have that idea that about money. And
yeah, they don't realize your mom has to work, your dad has to work. Money isn't endless.
So when you go up to your mom and dad and you say, hey, can I have $20 for a video game, for instance? I used to buy Nintendo video games all the time, and I'd want the newest one and the latest one. Can I please buy it? I need $20. And my mom used to say, you don't need $20. Do you know money doesn't grow on trees?
Exactly. It's like, money doesn't grow on trees. They always say it like that, like it's something we should all know. Yeah, for me, one that I remember, this one was really funny. So if I was hungry, I would say, Mom, I'm hungry. And my mom would look at me and she would say, hi, hungry, nice to meet you. And this is funny because you can use it with anything. If your kid says, I'm bored, you can say, hi, bored, nice to meet you. And it's basically a way of making fun of the greeting, obviously. Hi, I'm Amy. And then the person says, hi, Amy, nice to meet you. But because they're introducing themselves with whatever adjective is happening at the time, Mom, I'm tired. Mom, I'm bored. So yeah, this is something that you can use with your kids as well as a joke. It's kind of a play on words, but it's adaptable to many different situations.
My next one that I heard all the time when I was your age. So my parents obviously are older and they have history on things that they had or didn't have back in the day. So once again, going back to those video games I used to play, my dad would say, stop playing all those video games. When I was your age, we didn't have video games. We had real toys or we rode our bikes, for fun.
Yeah, they'd say we went outside once in a while. For example, nowadays, we might say this to our kids. We would say, when I was your age, we didn't have cell phones. And it would be a comparison, something that is talking about how things were so different when we were younger and how things are now at this point in time. So that's another really, really great one that you can use with your kids.
My next one was when it came to playing music in my basement, playing records and stuff in my basement. And my mom was trying to concentrate on something that she was working on. And she would say, Curtis, turn down the volume. I can't even hear myself think.
I heard this one when me and my brother were arguing or maybe we were playing really loudly, like we were doing some sort of activity with a lot of banging or yelling or I don't know, something going on. So my mom would come into the room, guys, settle down. I can't even hear myself think. And this is just a way of saying like, holy man, you guys are making so much noise. I can't think. Like it's very, very distracting. So yeah, that's a really good one. What about this one? Did you ever hear this, Curtis? Where are you going? And this is me saying this to my parents. So I can see they're putting their coats on. My mom has her purse. She's putting her shoes on, for example. And I'm, Mom, where are you going? And her answer was, crazy, want to come? And that's it. Like, that was the answer.
Yeah,
So-
I've heard that a few times for sure.
and I started to say, where's crazy? It depends, you know? So, yeah, this is a type of expression or something that they used to say to us when they didn't want to tell us where they were going.
Yeah, or they didn't want us to come along with them.
Basically,
Yeah.
it was like, I'm leaving the house, stay here with your brother, see you later. And that's it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I think the next one is something that my brothers got more into trouble for than I did. It feels like I'm talking to a brick wall.
Okay.
My brothers weren't the best listeners when it came to listening to my parents when they were telling them to cut the lawn or do a chore in the house. Especially Kevin, my older brother Kevin, he'd always be reading something or something like that. And still to this day, it's like talking to a brick wall.
Yeah, he's not the best conversationalist. Like, actually, my brother, I say this about him all the time, that it's like talking to a brick wall.
Yeah.
You know, you ask a question, for example, oh, hey, what's new? Nothing. Oh, okay. And then you have to think of another question.
Yeah.
So it sounds like in the case with your mom, whenever she was trying to lecture Kevin or ask a question to him or something like that, he was only half paying attention because he was busy doing something else.
Or he just wouldn't respond.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he was usually reading something like a newspaper or a hot rod car magazine or something.
Ah, okay. So
yeah.
this type of expression can be used not just with kids, but if you're ever having a conversation, a difficult conversation with someone, and you want to tell them that they need to participate, you know, you could say, hey, it feels like I'm talking to a brick wall, but usually that's pretty direct. So you might want to say it only to family members that can handle that type of direct response, but you might use it to talk about what a difficult conversation was like that you had. Okay. What about this one? Okay, guys. So here's the situation. You have to ask your parents something, and you walk into the living room and you ask them a question. But the location that you decide to stop is right in front of the TV that they're watching. What do they say to you, Curtis?
You make a better door than a window.
Amy, you make a better door than a window. That's what I heard. And this is basically saying, because doors are usually made of wood or solid material that you can't see through,
Yeah.
that you would be a better door than a window, because windows are transparent and you can look through them and see what's happening on the other side. So the next time that your kids are trying to talk to you and they're standing in front of the TV or something that you're trying to look at, you can use this expression. You make a better door than a window.
So the next one is don't make me. You'll hear, don't make me get up off of this chair, or don't make me turn the car around.
This is when your mom or your dad is really mad and they've asked you to stop and you're being really annoying, doing whatever, and they're threatening you with, don't make me get up from this chair. And it's a threat. It's like, oh, if they get up from the chair or they turn around that car, you're in big trouble.
Oh, yeah, big trouble for sure. I can remember an example, instance that I had with my brothers. We were going on a road trip. It was 9 hours long. We were excited to go on this family vacation, but we started acting up in the back seat, fighting with each other and screaming and yelling and pushing each other. And my dad was just like, don't make me turn this car around. So immediately we're like, oh, the trip would be over, and that, you know, dad would get really mad.
And that was probably preceded with, enough, boys.
Yeah.
Settle down, boys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Almost exact words.
And then finally your dad would say, don't make me turn this car around.
Yeah.
Probably really, really angry at that point. But
exactly.
yeah. The don't make me is always a threat. So whatever you have to stop doing, to obviously discipline your kids,
Mhm.
this is the threat. Don't make me whatever.
It's
Okay?
almost like that initial warning, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what about this one? You know, when your parents don't really have a good reason why?
Yeah.
And for example, you're asking if you can do something. Mom, can I go over to Sarah's house for dinner tomorrow night? Or can I have a sleepover at Sarah's house? And my mom says no. And of course, my answer is why? Because that's not a good reason. No.
Yeah.
Like, well, what's the reason? Why no? Okay. So I say, why? And my mom or dad says, because I said so. And that's it. Like, they are the authority. They said so. That's
Yeah.
it.
No is no. Almost,
No
right?
is no.
Yeah.
Exactly. Did you ever hear this sort of situation?
No, not really. Not
No?
that I can think of.
Oh,
no.
your
This
parents
is-
must have had good reasoning. I don't know. My parents were just like, I don't have to give you a reason because I said so. And that's it. So if you can't think of a good reason why, and your kids are asking for something and they're asking you why, you can just respond, because I said so.
Mhm.
This last one here that we have on the list is, I think, a little bit old fashioned, but I think that it's still used by parents because our parents used it and our grandparents used it. So when we find ourselves in a situation where there's a young kid
Mhm.
and they're not really listening to you and they respond with a sarcastic answer or a rude answer
Yeah.
or something that is just not appropriate as an answer to an adult that's asking you to do something,
Mhm.
what do we say to them?
Don't use that tone with me, young lady or young man.
Exactly. Sometimes you're going to hear, don't use that tone with me, missy, or don't use that tone with me, mister.
Mhm.
And it's like the person reclaiming their authority and that they deserve respect, basically.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, really, it's this type of disrespectful tone
Mhm.
that a kid is giving you. So, for example, if my mom, like, asked me to do something and I say, no, I don't want to do the dishes. And it's rude. Like, that
Mhm.
type of tone is really rude. Another thing that you might hear is, I wasn't asking, I was telling.
Oh.
And if you hear that, then you know, oh, okay, I need to go.
heard that a few times.
Exactly. Like they say, Amy, could you please wash the dishes?
Yeah.
They're requesting in a nice way. But when you respond without the right answer, then they're going to remind you that it wasn't really a request.
For me, it was cleaning my room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to clean your room today.
No, I don't want to clean my room. Don't use that tone with me, young man or mister, is what she
Exactly.
used to say. So when I'd be snarky and have that kind of tone in my voice.
Why aren't you eating your broccoli? I don't like broccoli. Exactly. But yeah, those are some of the things that we heard all the time when we were growing up in our household. And I'm sure that you have some similar versions of these expressions that you hear in your own native language.
Mhm.
And, it would be cool to hear what the version is. So go ahead and leave us a comment, for example. We'll see you next time.
That was a great conversation. And as usual, we used a ton of interesting vocabulary and expressions. Of course, these conversations are great for improving your listening skills. But if you are like most of our listeners, you have a job where you work in an English-speaking environment or you are living abroad. And even though you speak enough English to communicate, it can feel difficult to speak with the fluency you want, and it can feel frustrating trying to understand fast-spoken English, especially with native English speakers. If this is a problem that you're facing, I would love to help you. Every day, I work with students just like you to improve their skills and finally speak English easily and with confidence. Each of my lessons is totally personalized to your needs, which will allow you to feel progress and to get results within the first few lessons. If this sounds like something you need and you'd like to get started, you can visit realenglishconversations.com and check out our courses. Or you can click the link in the description area to book a trial lesson with me and get started right away.